I'm a second generation rescue team member and firefighter. My uncle was one of the founding members of North Shore Rescue. I had a couple other uncles that were firefighters. So for me, it was just stepping into their footsteps. Well, May of 2005 was the 40th anniversary of the North Shore Search and Rescue Team. And every year we would pick a mountain somewhere in the world to climb. This year we decided on Logan. Mount Logan is a beautiful mountain. It's the second highest in North America, highest in Canada. It's incredibly remote and famous for the massive storms that come through there. So we're up on this ridge, and about 300 miles away we can see the storm clouds. We're still about an hour and a half from our next camp, but 300 miles away, 400 miles away, we figure we got 3 to 4 hours if the storm's traveling at 100 miles an hour. Then the storm hit us within 15 minutes. None of us have ever seen a storm like that. It went from about -40 to -90 within 5 or 6 minutes. At altitude, every time you breathe out, and we're at 18,500 feet, that a little bit of moisture comes out, so we have to have something to drink. We're so thirsty. So I was gonna boil the snow. I have 5 sets of gloves on. I had to take my 3 over mitts off so I could just light the lighter. That's all I have to do for 5 seconds, put my gloves back on. I'm holding the lighter like that. Alex is half in the tent, half out of the tent, and then a rogue gust of wind comes. Hits the tent with such force, and now there's only me in it, not the 2 other guys. So that was enough to rip the tent away from the anchors and pick me up in the air. And I know there's a 5,000-foot cliff right beside us, and I'm thinking, oh, this is not good. But luckily the tent, when it got picked up in the air, all the weight went to that opening and just dumped us out. So it dumped me out with a little bit of gear, and Don and Alex are looking at me, and the first thing Don says is, "Eric, where are your gloves?" The gloves that I put on my lap that were gonna be there for 10 seconds are now gone. And it was just one of those, terrifying moments. And Don said, the only thing he could say is, "Well, stay here, we'll come back for you if we can." And they left me, which is the only thing they could do. And because I didn't have any gloves on, my hands froze within, a minute and a half, where I was totally helpless. This pain was so immense. And I thought, well, I could probably undo my jacket, and with the -90, I'll be dead within 5-10 minutes. I can let go of the rock, undo the jacket, roll off the cliff, and all the pain will be gone in about 3 minutes. And that's when I honestly think God spoke to me, and he told me exactly what I needed to hear, just to give me the courage and the strength just to keep holding on. And the courage was a big part, because I think it would have been far easier to die than it would be to keep holding on. And that's why I got the tattoo on my arm, to remind me and to always have the courage to carry on. 6 hours from the time they left, it was just this amazing sight, because these 2 figures walked out of the storm, and it was just so heartwarming to know. I thought I was still gonna die, but at least I was gonna be with 2 of my closest friends. Like, they risked their life to come back those 80 feet to get me. So Don and Alex were able to build a snow grave, and when they came back and grabbed me, they threw me in that, and there was me on the bottom, Alex on top of me, and then Don, and we laid like that for 3 days in -90 degrees. It was the longest 3 days of my life. I was able to think about everything. When that storm we thought broke, and then the Lama high-altitude helicopter showed up and was able to pull us off one at a time in a basket in the eye of the storm. And if he hadn't come when he did, we would still be on that mountain to this day, because nobody else could have helped us. After this experience, I still believed in God so much, but I didn't know how. I had all the information, but I didn't know how to read it. So I went back to my old life. Because a firefighter, I hung out with other firefighters, and that just wasn't part of our life. So we would do things differently. Like, when we were upset, we would drink. When we were happy, we would drink. And it went back to the old ways. So it wasn't until I met my wife walking down the street, and we started talking and dating, and she introduced me to Coastal Church, and then all of a sudden it all made so much more sense. I think it was the 4th trip to Coastal, they asked who would like to give their heart to Jesus, and they asked the entire congregation to do the prayer. And I remember thinking, well, this is what I've been looking for my entire life. And I've always wanted to give my heart to Jesus, but I never knew how. So I said the prayer, and there was no looking back. Zechariah 4.6, and this one spoke to me because of my arrogance all those years where I thought it was myself that got me rescued off Logan. And it's not by might nor by power, but by my spirit, says the Lord of his hosts. And I finally figured out, like, I couldn't figure out why we were able to survive Logan. We really shouldn't have. And that one explained it to me. It wasn't anything about us. We were rescued by God.